Hypothalamus Artificial Intelligence, HI. It presents companies in the process of digital transformation, its offer of professional services and the supply of algorithms of highly complex multi-problem mathematical models. These services are called artificial intelligence for the decision-making, logistics operators, distribution network design. To provide these services, HI is supported by its business partners, GAMS, IBM and TD SYNNEX, all producers of AI technologies. HI is a company at the forefront of high-performance artificial intelligence. Case: Logistics Express, Logistics Operator. Logistics Express, hereinafter Log Express, must define the distribution chain for an importing client who wishes to take over its entire distribution operation in Colombia. From now on, when we refer to Log Express, we are talking indistinctly about Log Express, and/or its client. This case is presented in detail in the document. Diseño óptimo de cadenas de distribución. The merchandise comes from the Philippines and the USA. 99% is received by wet port, Cartagena and Buenaventura, and 1% by dry port, Bogotá. By this means only small products are transported. In Buenaventura, Log Express does not have a warehouse. The work consists of unloading the merchandise and delivering it to the transporter for nationalization in Bogotá. Log Express Bogotá has around 8,000 square meters destined for the reception and nationalization of merchandise from Buenaventura, and for the reception of returns of merchandise from Log Express Cartagena. The products are grouped into two lines that are produced in both origins. 95% of Line 1 comes from the Philippines, and 95% of Line 2 comes from the United States of America. Contracts between Log Express and its clients have many rules and variations. Considering them, or not, is part of the difference between a long-term strategic model, such as the design of a distribution network, and an operations scheduling model. The strategic model will be an aggregate model that ignores certain business rules. In other words, it has a subset of these equations. Demand suffers from end-of-month syndrome, in which about 60% of orders and shipments are placed by the end of the month, due to the deadline of many trade agreements. The graph shows the particular behavior of demand. The shaded region is called the peak zone, and because of this, aspects such as the demand load curve and peak factors, payroll costs, loading times, allowed working hours, and congestion in the use of infrastructure, must be considered in the mathematical formulation. Within these lines there are a variety of product families, which in turn are made up of a wide variety of references. The families and references handled by Log Express customers are presented in the table. Demand behavior. Delivery requests from Log Express customers have certain dates, which must be met, as some do not accept merchandise outside of this date, and penalty costs are incurred. Log Express transports a large part of the merchandise to the chain's warehouses throughout the country. Depending on their needs, they have the option of requesting transportation from Cartagena or Bogotá to their warehouse or taking care of their transfer themselves.
Estructura de las bodegas. Las bodegas tienen una estructura genérica, compuesta por un área de almacenamiento en arrume y otra en patio.
Structure of the warehouses. The warehouses have a generic structure, consisting of a storage area in the pile, and another in the courtyard. Transport of products to warehouses. The merchandise from the USA is transferred to the associated warehouse in Cartagena, containers from the Philippines are stored in the main warehouse in Bogotá, and the alternate warehouse, in Cartagena, is used when the capacity of the previous ones is exceeded, and only nationalized products are stored. The associated warehouse is subcontracted. It has 11,000 square meters of patio, 9,000 under roof for loading of crumb, which are used for the storage of containers. The main warehouse is a customs area. The goods from the Philippines are transferred to it, pending their nationalization. In the main warehouse there are 9,000 square meters under roof, of which 3,000 to 4,000 square meters are shelves, and they also have 2,000 square meters of patio. It has been considered to include two additional warehouses in the distribution network, one in Cali and the other in Medellin. The connectivity of the distribution network is shown in the graph, in which the possible flows of goods to meet the requirements associated with transport services are detailed. The existing node types are factories, domestic port of import, distribution warehouse, and consumption area. Two types of additional modes are considered: a container cross-docking, and a cross-docking of goods. In this way, greater flexibility is given to the network. Log Express serves customers in the cities presented in the table. Contracts of carriage. Delivery requests from Log Express customers have certain dates, which must be met, as some do not accept merchandise outside of this date, and penalty costs are incurred. Contracts have many rules and variations. Considering them or not is part of the difference between a long-term strategic model, such as the design of a distribution network, and an operations scheduling model. The strategic model will be an aggregate model that ignores certain business rules. In other words, it has a subset of these equations. Multimodal transport. For the generality of the model, it is considered a multimodal transport system, which can combine different types of vehicles and modes. In this case, the distribution system is limited to road transport, and they use different types of trucks, which normally represent the typical trucks of a transport company. Case, Logistics Express. Scenario analysis. The variables included in the mathematical model are presented in the table. The diagram presents the variables associated with the dispatch of materials between nodes of the network. The constraints included in the mathematical model are presented in the table.
Se puede considerar dos enfoques para resolver el problema matemático. Automático. Vía modelo de programación estocástica mixta lineal. En este caso, se construye un modelo de optimización que incluye variables de inversión, variables binarias y variables de operación, generalmente continuas. En teoría, la solución se obtiene con una ejecución del modelo matemático, y por lo tanto, no produce mucha información, y puede interpretarse como una solución de caja negra. Semiautomático. Vía análisis de escenarios con un modelo de programación lineal. En este caso, se construye un modelo de optimización solo con las variables operativas. La solución se obtiene con la ejecución cíclica del modelo matemático, parametrizado para cada posible escenario de solución. Para obtener la decisión óptima, todas las corridas deben analizarse juntas, y el analista, con su juicio, toma las decisiones. Este enfoque produce más información y conocimiento sobre el problema, y la empresa entiende claramente la razón de su decisión. En este video se estudiará la segunda alternativa.
The factors studied are: hub in Panama, container cross-docking, location of new warehouses, location of cross-freight docking. For a complete analysis of the possible action plans that allow to optimally face the challenge faced by Log Express, it was necessary to evaluate a range of scenarios in which the existing possibilities are studied. To determine the scenarios to be studied, the following was taken into account. Viable locations for warehouse locations. Viable places for the location of 5,000 square meter warehouses are Cali and Medellin. Viable locations for cross-docking location: Cartagena, Medellin, Cali, Bogotá. Possibility of taking control of the path that the merchandise follows from the port in Panama, in such a way that the percentage of the merchandise that is distributed to the port of Buenaventura and Cartagena can be managed. The diagram presents the connectivity of all the scenarios studied. In accordance with the previous aspects, scenarios were configured that would allow a complete analysis of the different options, and the benefits that the implementation would bring individually, or combined. The code for the combined scenario is presented in the table. The RCCB scenario corresponds to the current state, or reference scenario, and determines the baseline. All the scenarios combined were executed for their solution. Below are the results of the variable costs of the scenarios, in which the costs of transport, mass and parcel, the massive freight given by the transport companies, and the costs of parcel and other operating costs, given by Log Express were considered.
Con el fin de analizar la importancia y correlación de los aspectos estudiados dentro de la cadena logística para la minimización de costos, se consideró conveniente realizar un análisis estadístico de los resultados encontrados, el cual se puede realizar, al menos, a través de dos vías. Análisis de regresión. Análisis factorial. En los que se evalúe los impactos debidos a los factores determinantes, es decir, bodegas en Cali y en Medellín, cross-docking, hub en Panamá, con relación al costo de la operación.
For regression analysis, a model is formulated to determine the gain that is obtained, in relation to the reference scenario, by activating each risk factor. The model formulated is ganancia equals beta hub por hub, plus beta Cali por Cali plus beta Medellín por Medellín plus beta CD por CD, plus beta hub Cali por hub Cali plus beta hub Medellín por hub Medellín, plus epsilon, where beta 30 corresponds to the estimated coefficient for the effect, gain in relation to the reference scenario, of the factor 30, and beta 30i corresponds to the coefficient estimated for the joint effect of the factors 30 and i.e., when the two are activated simultaneously. The estimated parameters are presented in the following table.
Por lo tanto, se encuentra que el hub en Panamá aporta una ganancia de $303.112 americanos. La integración de una bodega en Cali hubiera permitido ahorros de $471.091 americanos después de restar los costos fijos de operación y el costo de inversión depreciado a 3 años. ¿Qué es lo que se espera dure contrato? El hub en Panamá y la bodega en Cali implica ahorros conjuntos de $163.600 americanos, es decir que los ahorros en costos por integrar a la red logística actual, bodegas en Cartagena y Bogotá, y además establecer un hub en Panamá y una bodega en Cali, hubieran permitido un ahorro de $937.804 americanos, suma de los efectos, lo cual implicaría que los ahorros en los costos totales serían del orden de los $839.643 americanos en un año de operación. Los cross-docking traerían ahorros aproximados de $27.101 americanos anuales. Para determinar el ahorro real habría que entrar al analizar los costos de poseer este tipo de infraestructura, y los ahorros anuales de activar la bodega en Medellín son de $28.461 americanos, y no son suficientes para reembolsar los costos fijos y de inversión necesarios.
Regression statistics allow us to conclude that the goodness of fit of the model is good, and that therefore the model can be accepted as representative. Therefore, it can be stated that the two factors that have the greatest impact on profits are the hub and the warehouse in the city of Cali, which when activated simultaneously produce a profit, a cost avoided, with respect to the current situation of the order of 26%, a non-negligible percentage figure. Additionally, the warehouse in Medellín, and the cross-docking, have high coefficients of variation, which increases the decision's financial risk. The comparative analysis between observations and predictions is presented in the table. The table presents the analysis of variable costs together with investment expenditures, indicating the least expensive option, DH-Cal. The image presents the proposed solution supported by the scenario analysis, which is a warehouse for container cross-docking must be created in Panama, initially contemplated by Log Express as a possible solution. Regardless of the origin, the Philippines or the USA, the containers must be unloaded in Panama, to carry out their redispatch, according to the destination port, Cartagena or Buenaventura. A cross-docking warehouse for products should be created in Cali. 3 warehouses must be operated, Cartagena, Bogotá, and Cali, and dispatch products to customers directly from warehouses. This is the design that produces the most utility. The screenshot presents the Smart User Interface navigation menu, automatically generated by Optex, Optimization Expert System. The shell window in the Optex Explorer presents 6 data windows. Warehouse Master Table, Warehouse Product Line Relationship, Relationship between Warehouse and Sites, Warehouse Vehicle Relationship, Warehouse, Cross-Docking Relationship, and relationship between warehouses and consumption areas. The screenshot shows the Results Explorer in Optex, which allows you to see all the results of variables and constraints. The browser presents the result table for the variable, warehouse selected. The diagram presents the connectivity of the resources used throughout the distribution network. In this case, it presents the type of truck, the destination warehouse, therefore the consumption area, and the line of products transported. Case, Logistics Express. Large distribution networks. Log Express has designed distribution networks for large industries, which typically operate large distribution networks. The methodology to be followed is like the previous one. The difference is the dimension of the problem that must be faced, which can be solved with appropriate computer technologies. The methodology to be followed is similar to the previous one. The difference is the dimension of the problem that must be faced, which can be solved with appropriate computer technologies. The distribution network can operate in two ways. Dispatch, flow in the direction of the factory to the consumption areas. The second way is reverse logistics, flow in the direction of consumption zones to factories, or reprocessing or destruction centers. Thank you for allowing us to add value and success to your business. Thank you very much for your attention.